Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our Plant of the Week podcast, brought to you by Bonide Products, family made in America. Visit Bonide.com to find a retailer near you. Each week, Plant Talk Radio's Fred Hauer focuses on a plant that would be a great addition to your landscape. Now for this week's Bonide Products Plant of the Week. Fred, your plant of the week.
Well, the plant of the week, of course, I've chosen to come indoors because outside, not much color and not much exciting, although some. But I came to a plant called Pothos. Now, it has other names, but when you look at it, it is much like the leaf of a philodendron. It's about philodendron green, if you will. But then there's a lighter, waxy coat on it. It gives it a glow, not a shine. It is either available in green or variegated greens. And then by that, there are probably three different types of gradation of the variegations in it. And it goes from a rich middle green in the green part to a very bright creamy in the open part. And I thought I had an outstanding plant at home. Last winter, I got a little sunshine down south, and I was in an arboretum. And, Mark, I had to look at the plant 3 times. The leaves looked like pothos. It was growing up a tree like pothos can, but it was about 7 times bigger leaf than I'm used to. It was growing in its natural circumstances and can get to be a very, very sizable leaf, probably 8 inches in length and 5 across, etc. However, here in the northern parts of the world and indoors this time of year, it's going to have a leaf maybe 3 inches long, 2 1/4 wide. And the beauty of the plant is its resilience. And by that, I have proof that I wish I could pass along to you as proof. But I have a pot, a hanging pot, if you will, in my bathroom that has east morning sun, but it's not in the direct pattern of the sun. The plant hangs there all winter long until approximately May 15. Then it goes out under a tree, comes back in before frost. Now, bear with me, but I was trying to figure out this morning whether it's been hanging there for 19 or 20 years. Okay. Same plant. Now, in the summertime, when it's outdoors and the conditions are really more like natural for it, it'll grow a couple, 3 feet long. It'll hang from, let's just say it'll hang clear to the pavement of the patio, and I have to cut it off and so on. It's just one of those crazy things that, along with it being either 19 or 20, I was trying to think back if I ever fertilized it. And I think the answer is no. The plant is a survivor. Now, that's just simply all there is to it. I water it heavily when I water it, let the excess drain out, hang the pot back up on its hook, and ignore it for another week or 10 days, usually on a weekly basis, because the plant can handle, we'll call it at least moist soil. It doesn't have to dry completely down. But that baby is just tough as nails.
Of course, being in the bathroom, it gets steam and it gets a lot of moisture, just much more than you'd get anywhere else in the house.
This is true. And that's, I guess, why I mentioned the bathroom specifically. And then the east or morning light. And the plant, in any position of the sun, the window would not throw or allow direct light to hit the plant. But it sustains itself, if you will, in the wintertime. And then in the summertime, it grows quite rapidly outdoors. Pothos. I've heard other names for it, but that's the real one. And if you want something tough that you can hopefully get many years out of, that's the plant to buy. Now, my daughter, way back in her youth, had a terrarium. She planted one of those in the 5-gallon glass jug. It then, as she left home, it left the top of the jug. It went over, and that rascal took a hold of the paint on the wall lightly, went up to the corner of the room, and it's, I suppose, 6'8" is the door, 7'2", 7'6". I don't know what the ceiling height is in that room. And then over time, it traveled the straight wall from the ceiling. It traveled out through there 6 or 8 feet. Now, eventually, there had to be some changes in that room, and the plant was caused to leave. But honest to Pete, if you want a tough companion in green things, give it a shot. It's just something else.
So it's a little climber, but you can't plant it outside because it won't last over the winter.
That's right. As a matter of fact, Mark, I'm very cautious that when the first night temperature hits 40 or anything right below it, it'll come in because they don't. It's not just the day temperature or night temperature. It's the whole of the root system, et cetera. So, no, it would not handle a winter. And then I don't put it out until we're pretty darn sure of no frost, and therefore approximately mid-May here in Columbus. So it's a survivor of the highest order. It can be quite attractive in the variegated forms. And it doesn't take much love. It just don't let it get too dry in between waterings.
If it can survive Fred Hauer, then because as you say, you don't baby them.
No, I don't, and they're for a reason. That's why when our guests call in, at least what I know is from a realist standpoint. Even from when I talk about giving a plant a decent burial. Now it's proper depth. Measured, it's wide and then a beverage and wider, so the roots have a place to grow out to. But then they're on their own. I want to know what they will tolerate, and it's almost a matter of a study because what a plant can tolerate is almost more important than its overall beauty and so on. Can it survive?
Can you prune it pretty hard?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I have cut in individual lengths off of that plant that are about 6.5 feet long. Now, I don't cut the whole plant off at a given height above the ground. I try to stagger it so it looks more natural and so on instead of a bowl haircut. But at the same time, yeah, you can trim the dickens out of it. Now, I would still follow some of the basic rules. Plants have to have foliage to make food to keep on doing all these things. So I would say that you should at least stop at the 25% removal point at any one given time. Now, on a plant like this Pothos, I could probably trim it 3 times a summer, one stem here, one stem there, and keep it kind of seesawing back and forth so it's not, again, flat out a certain distance from the ground. But I would think, and I guess I've never actually reflected on it directly, but I would not take more than 25% out of it either because you want to keep it growing so it can be tough as nails.
Thanks again for listening to our podcast brought to you by Bonide Products at bonide.com. Plant Talk Radio offers other podcasts as well, including our daily Your Gardening Question podcast and our weekly Plant Talk Radio, all available on iTunes or your preferred podcast player. If you have a plant suggestion for Fred, send him an email, fred@planttalkradio.com.